Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Officials in Sioux Falls are looking into what sparked a fire in the central part of the city. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue says it happened at around 6:30 Sunday evening.
Firefighters arriving on scene found smoke and fire coming from the first and second floor of the home. During a search, crews found someone and brought them outside. 2 other people were outside of the home as well.
Several patients were transported to local hospitals, and I believe several patients also self-transported to local hospitals. Their status is currently not known.
2 firefighters also suffered minor injuries. The fire was put out in 20 minutes.
Residents in the town of Coleman are reacting to a high-speed chase that rolled through town last week. It went the wrong way on I-29 before going through Coleman and ending in Madison.
Jennifer Thompson was in a car with her son when the pursuit came through town.
When I saw him turn the corner, I thought I heard the tires squeal. My son was driving, and he moved over to get out of his way, and I thought, okay, well, he's driving kind of recklessly. And as soon as he passed us, I looked over and thought, he's got bullet holes in his window.
Officials say the suspect shot at law enforcement at least a dozen times. Shell casings were found on the ground outside the suspect's vehicle. Nobody was hurt.
The 2 suspects, 40-year-old James Landfer and 45-year-old Bonner Jewell, were arrested.
Extremely hot temperatures today across KELOLAND. Let's find out just how hot it's going to get with meteorologist Scott Mundt. Good morning, Scott.
Well, good morning there, Travis. Good morning, everybody. We are looking at heat advisories that do cover western and eastern KELOLAND and right in the middle of South Dakota. We are talking excessive heat warnings for today. You know that heat index, what it feels like to the body? Approaching 108, maybe even hotter at times. So we have a lot of heat and humidity in place. That will continue as we go through the day today. Slightly cooler for tomorrow, but you know what? Just slightly cooler. Don't look for any big cool downs. But again, the feels like temperature, that heat index easily into the triple digits for today. That will cover central, much of eastern KELOLAND. Our actual forecast, 106 in Pierre, 109 in Phillip, 99 today in Sioux Falls. More details on your forecast with Brian coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Keeping cool in this heat is easier for some than it is for others. Leaders at the Union Gospel Mission and Bishop Dudley Hospitality House say they are seeing more people using their facilities during the summer months.
Wesley Risen and David Schwartz are guests at the 2 facilities, respectively.
It's automatically good to have that resource because you can't get help half the time out there on the streets. You can't get no help. So this here is good.
So you can get a whole lot of love and a whole lot of warmth and cool off and just be better, feel better about who you are.
Both shelters say they're in need of volunteers and donations. You can find links to each in this report on our website. South Dakota lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are speaking out about legislature not holding a special session on abortion.
Governor Kristi Noem and other Republicans announced Friday that no such session is needed because South Dakota is already the most pro-life state in the country. But House Democrats say politics played a role in their decision because a special session would have come so close to the November election.
Meanwhile, Republicans say no special session will give South Dakotans more time to share their thoughts with lawmakers.
I would like to hear from more constituents. And, I think you can't do the full process of vetting things and hearing from people in a short 2-day special session.
It would bring this issue front and center to the legislature prior to the election. And there are a lot of very concerned citizens here in South Dakota. And so this would probably force people to take some pretty difficult votes.
Right now in South Dakota, abortion is only allowed to save a pregnant woman's life.
Starting today, Sioux Falls will be hosting over 400 veterans from across the country for the Department of Veterans Affairs National Veterans Golden Age Games. This is the first in-person competition in 2 years because of the pandemic. Veterans age 55 and older will compete and attend clinics at multiple venues throughout Sioux Falls. The public is encouraged to attend the outdoor events at Howard Wood Field. We have a link to the full schedule right here at KELOLAND.com. And that's a look at some of our top stories. Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, stay cool the best you can today with all of these heat advisories and excessive heat warnings that are issued, depending, of course, on the exact extent of the temperature. The raw temperature today in Pierre, for example, at least to 106. Some locations like Phillip could be up to 109, 110 pretty easily today. Sioux Falls, not quite that hot, but we've got humidity. We also have the ingredients for at least the heat index surpassing that 100-degree mark. The Futurecast update today, looking at these surging temperatures through midday. The other factor, too, is the wind out of the south. And, boy, that's going to just act like a furnace here out in central South Dakota today. Really dries things down quickly. And, you know, one other little thing to think about is the epicenter of that heat is actually located over the worst drought. Now, of course, the drought had been going in reverse for a long time. Now that drought is going the other direction. I don't think there's any question about that. Even folks that had some rain over the weekend, if you happen to pick up an inch or better, consider yourself pretty fortunate, because days like these and the next several, you're going to have some component of drying. A couple little showers tonight, but a lot of this, as advertised, simply probably doesn't make it to the ground or is just so widely scattered it's not worth mentioning anything organized in the forecast. There is a little more rain, maybe east of Marshall into central Minnesota. That front, by the way, is going to cool us tomorrow, and I am anticipating some of the numbers around Aberdeen and Watertown. You know, we're going to drop several degrees. I hope that we can cut those highs maybe a little bit more based on the new data, maybe even adding in an afternoon shower or thunder shower in the northeast. Otherwise, don't forget about all the wind. There's plenty of that out of the south today. In fact, tonight, Sioux Falls will run 15 to 30 out of the south. Unusually high amount of wind here, and it has to do with a pretty stout area of low pressure tracking along the Canadian border. Look at that wind picking up to 50 around Mobridge tomorrow. So there is a change in the weather after a high today, Mobridge of 103. You know, at least the temperature will be cooler tomorrow, but tough to get rain out of this pattern. We're going to have to wait till maybe Saturday in Sioux Falls. End of the week, there's a couple of things looking a little better for us. I like the odds of rain in Minnesota a lot better. I would say the farther west you live, it might be a little harder to catch that initially. So as a result, most of our 7 days dry. Aberdeen is also looking at slightly cooler weather. We haven't cooled Tuesday as much yet. I'll keep an eye on that. We might be able to cut that a few more degrees, maybe back in the upper 80s tomorrow. That would be nice to at least get that break. Pierre, well, to 92 tomorrow is cooler, but again, it's still hot for this time of the year. We're in the 90s the rest of the week. We didn't see any need to put any organized rain in for Pierre, and likewise Rapid City. It's going to be tough to get rain for now, with highs a little bit better by Wednesday in the upper 80s. More details online at KELOLAND.com.